Be sure to subscribe to Viral now and click the bell so you'll never miss an upload of ours. Hi there everyone, my name is Jeremy Jameson, here today with 10 everyday habits that we really should look at and consider, is this the best thing for us? As most people's lives are constantly busy, whether that be their perception or the legitimate truth, stopping for a moment to think about what does keep us so busy doesn't seem to happen too often. Not to say you should spend a ton of time evaluating yourself, as that then becomes counterproductive in regards to your overall productivity, but from time to time, just pausing and thinking about what you want to do on a daily basis is healthy. This video is more theological, I suppose, than our average. Keep in mind, I'm just a YouTuber, but I've compiled ideas from friends and online articles. There's not one perfect way to live, but there are some changes that could be made for the general population. Procrastinate. Definition: delay or postpone action. Putting off doing something. A common habit in many people's lives, not thinking about your future self and instead living in the moment, believing you have infinite time. When the deadline comes, however, that future self is always found attesting your previous decisions. In a 2007 study, it was found that 85% to 90% of college students had experiences with procrastination themselves. Those assignments that are due in 2 weeks don't need to be worked on right now, many think. It'll only take a few hours to complete. Then, you find yourself the night before, depriving yourself of sleep in order to make sure you complete it. Plenty of students right now, as the end of the semester is rapidly approaching, are especially doing that in regards to studying for finals, not spending enough time learning what you need to know. This isn't limited to studies, of course. It's estimated that 20% of people in general consistently put off important tasks. Spending excess time on immediate activities, while they bring joy to you in the moment, long term, the time wasted really does add up. Lie. Definition: intentionally false statement. This ties into procrastination, I'd say, which is all lying to yourself about the time you truly have. Going beyond just that though, constantly bending the truth in your life can cause major problems. Let's put the moral issue of lying aside for a moment. If you tell different people in your life different details, it becomes tiring to keep track of everything you say. A major element in relationship with family and friends is trust. While it can be fun to over-exaggerate a story to make it more entertaining for those listening, in the long term, it can ruin your trust with those you care about when you slip up and forget a detail you fabricated. Now, of course, it's nature for people to lie out of convenience for the immediate protection it can bring from time to time, and me simply saying this is bad isn't going to majorly change anything. I'm just proposing the idea to consider, though, if it's worth it to tell the smallest of lies. Like I said, procrastinating is essentially lying to yourself. All the time could have been used for much better activities, which ties into my next point. Not spending time with family or friends. Human relationships matter. While you may have an inconceivable amount of work to complete, setting aside time for those close to you should be of importance. Now, some may say, what does it matter if I just live in my home all day and just talk to no one? Scientifically, it's been shown that increased levels of dopamine is linked to having healthy relationships and spending time with others. It'll make you feel much more happy, and having a support system through the stressful times is helpful. Think about it. The desire for relationships is deeply ingrained in people, as the biological reason we're here is because of the countless relationships of our ancestors. Yes, there will be times where work should be your priority. Instead of going out with friends, you can advance in life or just stay stable, but even if it's just a couple of times a month, spending time with the people you care about will show you care about them and make both parties generally happy. Not relaxing. As job markets continue to get more competitive with various factors such as automation becoming more prevalent and higher levels of education for the population, putting your all into work may seem tempting. Despite the number of self-employed people rapidly increasing due to the tools that the internet provides, all of that freedom doesn't mean your life will be less stressful. No, quite the opposite, as it seems like work never ends. For those who do have a 9-to-5 job, and work does end at that 5 o'clock, many people's lives are still busy with hobbies, studying, relationships. These can all be great things, but please remember to relax every once in a while. Pushing yourself to the absolute extreme to achieve everything you want can cause serious mental, emotional, and physical damage to yourself. Talking about sleeping specifically, there is no universal amount that every single person needs, but it is known that only a very small percentage of people can truly survive on just a couple of hours every night. For most people, you need a few hours. Sleeping more increases productivity, so although you'll have less awake hours in the day, in those hours, you'll get much more done. Listening to music loudly with headphones. In our time, headphones have become very prevalent, whether it be over the ear, on ear, and especially in ear due to them often being bundled with new cell phones, also known as earbuds. While it isn't dangerous to use them, the problem is the duration and the volume you listen at. There's not a universally agreed volume that is safe for listening to, although there is some pretty good guidelines if you look around, but once again, no one quite fully agrees at what the ideal listening level is. Typically a good rule of thumb is that if you can't hear those around you talking, you're listening too loudly. If the headphones are noise cancelling though, this doesn't apply. Just be wary of the volumes you listen to music at, or even news, podcasts, or anything else with headphones and speakers. Hearing loss is irreversible, so be sure to take care of your hearing. Spending too much time in one position. With the rise of entertainment, whether it be television, nowadays gaming, or even spending time on your computer, for some reason the act of sitting is commonly thought of as damaging to yourself. While the reason for this is because of how many people just sit and don't move at all throughout the day. Take me for example, being a YouTuber, this means I spend a lot of time at my computer sitting in a chair. Would I suddenly become more healthy if I started to use a standing desk and would stand all the time instead? According to various scientific studies, no. Standing for extended periods of time causes their own health issues, just as sitting or even laying down all the time does. Now, maybe one of these is a little bit healthier, but my point is that the problem here is really just not changing your position. If you have the type of job where you need to sit all day, then spend half an hour of your time daily working out or just stretching every few minutes, every half an hour or so, and you can sit for however long you want. Envious of others on social media. Almost everyone in our society, at least those on the younger side of life, partake in social media. The most popular platform sees changes among the youth. A few years ago, it was Facebook in the spotlight, while still very popular. Just with the youth once again, it then switched to Snapchat, then Instagram, then etc. It's always changing. With this constant connection to everyone, in large part, it's pretty great. The only thing that could be damaging that a lot of people do on a daily basis is when checking social media, they'll see a friend of theirs looking like they're having the best time of their life. What a lot of people forget to consider in that moment is that people post when there is something worth sharing happening. So you're seeing highlights for people's lives, and with how many friends or celebrities we follow on social media, it may seem like everyone is always living their life to the fullest, when in reality, you are seeing exactly what they want to show you. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't post when you just lost your job. Well, okay, maybe some people will, but most don't want to share the hard things like that. So when looking at your friends and what they post, remember that they are showing a very small fraction of their reality. Impulsive purchases. More than half of Americans have savings of less than $1,000 in their bank account as of this year. I believe it's 57% exactly in 2017. This is due to plenty of reasons in conjunction with one another, but a big contributor to this is the amount of money spent on unnecessary items. I know I myself, as well as friends who already have their bills paid for, and they decide to just purchase some things because they have a little bit of extra money. Now, I'm not saying how you should spend your money at all, but I'm just proposing the idea that browsing online for new clothing, electronics, or whatever else that is not completely needed is not that healthy mentally. When a deal is spotted, it may be on an item you wouldn't have purchased if it was at full price because you didn't care about it before. But now that you think you're saving money by buying it, well, no, that's actually the opposite of saving money. Only reading headlines. Getting back to how rapid our world moves today and how prevalent social media is, we constantly see the opinions of others, but also headlines from news outlets, who have opinions of their own at times. With news though, it becomes about who can create the most outrageous headline while still retaining a hint of truth so they don't get into any legal trouble with slander or libel. On literally any topic, you can see polar opposites of interpretation by just reading the headline, and by clicking on it and reading the article, often it'll come together that the headline was quite inaccurate. Or if you don't have time to read the article, please be cautious about forming your opinions on topics just based off of the headlines. Sometimes saying "I don't know" in regards to a conversation is the best choice, instead of presenting ideas that you yourself haven't spent too much time formulating. Never considering others' viewpoints. To conclude this video and tie in with the previous point, please apply some intellect, which the definition of that just means to think why others say the things they do. Despite how much you may think they are dumb because of their belief, at least trying to comprehend why they came to that conclusion they did can be very useful for you then entering conversation and being able to counter their point, or at least not harbor the thought that they're simply stupid. In modern politics, we are in a time of miscommunication. This is all due to contempt for those who disagree. I'm not saying that you have to accept their viewpoint at all. You can still totally be against the idea. I'm just saying that trying to take a moment to understand the perspective in order to establish proper communication needs to become prioritized so we can try to work together on a lot of issues. Of course, this won't apply to everything, especially some more extreme problems, but for a lot of topics, this can definitely be applied. So with all of this said, once again, I'm just some young guy on YouTube spouting out ideas. None of these mantras is going to apply to everyone, as it is with any idea. It doesn't work for everyone, but I think these are some decent guidelines to strive for. Honestly, all of these are things I've had trouble achieving, or still do to this day at times. For Viral Now, I'm Jeremy Jameson, wishing you to have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.